He's a force in comedy, from The Chappelle Show to The Wire to his Netflix special A New Day to his Black and Mild tour. Donnell Rawlings has proven there's nothing he can't do. He's bringing that raw, unapologetic humor right here to Jacksonville. I got a chance to catch up with him about what fans can. So you're about to be in the city, Duval County. Talk to us about what fans can expect on your stop here to Jacksonville.
Well, my brand, and it's all on my social media, and I say this. Someone asked me a while ago, can a joke be too soon? And to that, I said a joke can be too soon, but it never can be too soon for a funny observation. So when you come to my show, it's going to be observational comedy. It's going to be, of course, people love when you do self-deprecating comedy because you put the joke on yourself. But if anybody's been following me in my career for like the last 30 years, you know it's uncensored, it's raw, but not too raw. It's on the edge, and it's going to leave you like, I can't believe he said half the things that he said. I agree with some of them, but I saw his perspective, and that's what comedy is about. You're going to see somebody that shares their perspective and talk about what they see in the world in a humorous way. So that's what you're going to get. I just had a comedy special, A New Day, that aired on Netflix like a year ago. So sometimes people are like, well, he just did a special. Is he going to do new material? It's all new material. Nothing is taken from that special. I think from that special, I've evolved as a comic. I really realized what it takes to engage your audience, have your point of view, and make people have a good time. So I'm excited. I've been coming to this club particularly for probably like the last 15 years. So I built a fanship there. And from my appearances on Chappelle Show, The Breakfast Club, The Wire, BMF, I think people kind of know me. So this is an opportunity for people to get an up and close personal a view of who Donnell is.
Speaking of your special A New Day, that was a major moment. What did that project mean for you, especially with Chappelle calling you one of his inspirations?
For me, I think had I done a special uh, 10 years prior to that, I would have been more excited because it would have been something that I would have considered that would break me or people get to know me. But when I did a special, I've had a fan base. People have been following me for years. And I think for me, it was more exciting for years. People like, when are you gonna get a special? You deserve a special. So it was good for my fans to see that, you know what, Netflix saw the value in giving me that platform. And it was just an opportunity for people that haven't been that familiar with me doing stand-up, because I think people know me more from acting than stand-up because I haven't been on a lot of stand-up platforms. So it got people that knew me from sketch, knew me from the drama side, to see that, you know, Donnell's a funny guy and somebody else believed in him outside of the fans. But that was definitely to fulfill the fans' need of Donnell Rawlings.
How do you jump between comedy and drama? I know you've done a lot over the years.
Well, comedy is drama. You know, what Smokey Robinson had a song. People say I'm the life of the party because I tell a joke or two, but take a good look at my face. You see, I'm crying. You know, I really put us in, not to disrespect our field, whatever, but if you, a person that their job is to be a clown, right? Once you wipe that smile off their face, they're probably a dark person. They're probably a person that's dealing with things, but the way their escape is when I put that smile on my face and I got to perform for the audience. And I think in the case of comedy, that a lot of comedians come from a dark place, and comedy is their therapy. It's their relief. It's their way where they feel better about themselves, and they take themselves to a point where people can see them in a positive light and a good light, and they hold a lot of things on the inside. And I think that a lot of comedic actors that do drama, they're taking something from their life and they're projecting it onto film or TV.
Out of all your roles, which one gets brought up the most when fans recognize you?
Oh man, and I don't know, this good dude's a hood favorite, Ashy Larry, hands down. It's so
Definitely.
interesting because when I did Chappelle Show, if anybody really look at the time I spent on that show, I didn't really have a lot of time to talk. If you had an editor to say, okay, just cut to where he spoke, it probably out of 2.5 years, probably the timeline would fill up like about 25 minutes. But I knew with that said that whenever you saw me, I had to be funny off the rip. That's like the Ashy Larry character. He wasn't ashy. He was just a guy in his boxers spending his baby mother's or his wife's money to try to win some high stakes. But I said I wanted to add something to it. I went to the hair and makeup, and I told him, I said, I need some baby powder, right? I put the baby powder on me. I put a robe on it because I thought that they would be like, you can't do that. I had the baby powder in my hand, and I was like, the minute that I come on this camera or the camera hits me, it's going to be off to the races. And to this day, it's been like that show is probably like 20 years, maybe even more. But for some reason, it still resonates with pop culture. I get people all the time talking about, oh, if it wasn't for Dave, what has he done since Chappelle Show? I've done a lot. I had a very stacked resume before Chappelle Show, and I had a stacked resume after Chappelle Show. It just so happened that I had opportunity to be a part of what people are saying, not me. One of the greatest sketch comedy shows in the history of television. I won't run from that. I will never not talk about it. I've done other things, but I was a part of history. And another thing I give, like, what is he going to do next? I can't repeat history. I made history. I would go crazy trying to, the next project, it's going to be better than Chappelle Show. It's going to be this. Chappelle Show, it was a moment in time. Had an opportunity for Dave to give me a platform to do what I've been doing. I was funny before Chappelle, and the reason why I continue to be on Chappelle Show, it wasn't we didn't have a cast. It wasn't nobody had a contract where you had to write. It was you're only as good as your last sketch. And with that said, I made it my business always whenever they said action, I took it as if I'm never gonna get an opportunity to be on the show again. And that translated into somebody that committed to it, somebody that showed up. And when I got called into the game, I hit a 3-pointer. I hit a game winner. And that's how I continued to be a part of that show.
You've been everywhere lately, stand-up, acting, podcasting. When people ask what keeps you busy right now, how do you even answer that?
What keeps me busy is I know that I have to keep going to create the best lifestyle I can, the best opportunities for my son, you know. And I, have times where I was like, okay, this could be overwhelming. What's going to be the next move? But when I look at my son's eyes and I look at the future I'm trying to build for him, it's like I can't never stop. I got to continue to move forward. I got to continue to evolve. I got to continue to do everything I can do to be the dopest dad that I can be. And my son is pretty much the driving force that gives me the motivation and inspiration to just continue to want to be as good as I can be.
And I know you also have your podcast,
Yeah.
and you have millions of views and some big name guests. How different is that space compared to being on stage with a live audience?
Well, for me, there's no difference on that stage than being on stage and then a podcast because I'm in 100% control of it. Now, the question is, what's the difference between that and working for a network, working on a TV show? And then when I work on TV shows and I work doing anything outside of what I'm not in total control of, I have no control over it. You can't say this, you can't do this, you can't do that. But with stand up and with my podcast, it's the only thing where I am 100% the boss. Nobody can tell me what to do. And that's when you get the most authentic Donnell, is if you go to the Donnell Rawlings show and you subscribe to it, you check it out, or if you come to a comedy show. And at the end of the day, if Hollywood never gives me another film opportunity, never gives me another television opportunity, I feel confident knowing that I can put my name on the marquee. I can come down to Jacksonville. I can do a show, and that's those the people that paid to see me. Those are the people that I work for. That's my boss. Nobody else.
Anything else you would like to say to your Jacksonville fans ahead of your show?
I just want to say that again. I'm going to repeat myself. A joke could be too soon, but it never can be too soon for a funny observation. If you've enjoyed any of the things I've done, whether that was HBO's The Wire, whether it was The Corner, whether it was Chappelle Show, whether with any platform you ever seen, if you come see me do live stand up, I guarantee you that you'll be a fan for life.
All right, can we get a good Duval from you?
Duval!